I know, Scott, you love the barbecue and you love to. Are you getting your guys together this week?
We did last, I guess 2 weeks ago for Halloween. They come over and we carve pumpkins. We have a pumpkin carving contest and we feed them. A little harder to cook during the season because it takes a long time to get ready for them. But my wife does an amazing job during the season. Then I try to make up for it in the off season when we got a little bit more time.
I know the big question surrounding what happened with Coach Lake and obviously with Roop Rocket is that going to the tape, you seem to be the coach that was closest to him, and yet it looked like you were already kind of to the next play, like you were already getting your linemen together and stuff. I was just wondering for your opinion, your take on kind of what you saw and what you experienced in that moment.
Yeah, it's obviously unfortunate, and really I'm the guy that gets the offense off the sideline, and I believe we were in a kickoff return, and so we were getting ready to get the O-line out there, get the play called and everything else. So yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it just looked like business is normal the way you
just business is normal. Yep, trying to get off the field, get the offense on and get rolling.
So in other words, you didn't notice anything unusual. It just seemed like traffic, getting everybody separated.
No, yeah. It's quite a chore sometimes, as you can imagine, to get the personnel, get the guys rallied, or get there, get the play call in, just get everybody off to hopefully a good start of the drive, and so.
Yeah. How long was it before you realized that something had happened?
I think it was. Sunday, and then obviously found out Monday morning, meeting with Jen. So, yeah.
You've worked with a lot of these guys for a long time. How do you think that your familiarity with other coaches prepares you for kind of an adverse moment like this?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. You're right. Coach Bonifant and I have been together for a really long time. Coach Adams and I worked together at Boise State under Brian Harsin before coming here. So we're like family, and I think we're very familiar with each other. We know the things that we like and that we've done in the past, and things of that nature. So you're going to go through something like this. You certainly want to go through it with the guys that you love and respect, and all those guys in that room. We've been with Coach Cato for a long time, and so yeah, we're ready to roll.
And what do you think this season that when do you think you've been most successful running the ball?
It's definitely been too inconsistent. I think the Stanford game, we got off to a pretty good start there. You got me kind of reeling right now. I'm trying to think. We've definitely had our moments, and then we've had our moments where it wasn't good enough. And so I guess I'm not really answering your question the way you want it, but it's been too inconsistent. Sometimes I think it was maybe not running execution, certainly at times, maybe running a play into a bad look, that's just an uphill look, and probably a combination of those things. I mean, if it was just one thing, I think we would be able to, we've certainly been doing this long enough to be able to figure it out if it's just one thing, and just, like I said, it's just been too inconsistent.
With those looks that defenses are giving, and you've kind of seen a lot of different defenses now. I mean, what does ASU bring with their look that you guys are trying to attack this week?
Yeah. So Arizona State is a true 4-3 defense. It's an NFL, true 4-3. They play base personnel, even versus 11. You got a really good front seven that's deep. The 3 linebackers are all really good players. They're 4D linemen. They rotate a lot of different guys. I don't know if you remember this or not, but I recruit Arizona, so a lot of the local kids I've recruited in the past or I know of. So I'm maybe a little bit more familiar with individuals than other defenses, but they are stout up front. They don't try to trick you necessarily with like looks. They kind of line up where they line up, maybe have a few adjustments, and the challenge is when it comes to running the football, you got to get them off their spots. I mean, they got those 2 big D tackles, big D ends, and again 3 really good linebackers, and they got depth at all of them. Unlike like a Stanford that really didn't have a ton of depth at those positions up front, which I think you saw. They were pretty beat up in the game after we played them. these guys got a ton of depth, so their depth, and their guys are going to stay fresh, and they're really talented. So it's a good NFL style defense, and they're not trying to trick you. They're trying to play technique, and you got to move them off their spots.
When there's a mid-season change with your maybe you can't really change your whole playbook around in just 1 week, but with Coach Adams trying to bring in what he wants to do, but also with what you guys already have, I mean, how do you maximize just your offense within these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, it's a collaboration, right? And like I said, Junior and I worked together at Boise State with Brian Harsin, and then obviously here. He was at Western Kentucky, with Mike Sanford, another guy that we would work for, and so we got a long history together, and we're going to do. Obviously something's got to change a little bit here, otherwise we wouldn't be in this situation. And so we're collaborating. We're excited. We're going to do. You'll see. Again, you can't, like you said, you can't do a wholesale change by any means, but we got to do some things a little bit different.
Scott, how would you characterize kind of the battles at left guard and right tackle? Because we've seen some movement there between Ale and Bulow at left guard, and then obviously Kern is the starter at right tackle, but we've seen a lot of melee as well. Yeah,
I think last time, so with MJ, he's a little beat up at the start of the year, and Julius had a really good fall camp, and MJ's been healthy, and he's been playing pretty good, and that's been exciting, and so that's that situation there. And then with Mateo and Vic, Mateo's just been practicing really good, and I kind of was thinking, I'm like, all these other guys rotate all the time. Maybe mix it up a little bit and let this guy that's been practicing really well and you get some reps. And so that's really that. And it's worked out all right. It really has. And it's kind of been an eye-opening experience. Like, maybe if there are some other guys, that's not a bad thing to do, to let everybody get a little piece of the pie. I mean, there is obviously the continuity thing that you're worried about with the offensive line, but if you practice it during the week, I think for the most part the guys are all pretty good, with it, and it hasn't been an issue in a negative way.
Yeah, I know you can't do a deep dive now. Obviously there's so much going on. But yet, when you look at the offense as a whole, 10th in scoring, 10th in total offense in the Pac-12, and I obviously know that the offensive line is just one piece of that, but it feels like it kind of starts there. Have you been able to kind of diagnose some general things that maybe haven't shown up the way that you would have expected going into the season?
Sure. Well, kind of like what we talked about earlier, if it was just one thing, that's really easy to fix. Like I said, I've done this for a long time and been very fortunate. So it's a combination of things. It always comes back to execution, right? Whether that's on the front, communication at times, making sure that everybody's on the same page, because it only takes one guy to not do his job, right? And then everything looks like crap, right? You got 4 wide receivers out there and one guy runs the wrong route. Well, the quarterback can move on to the other 3, but you got the whole line. One guy doesn't do it, 4 guys do it right, and it just doesn't look right. And so, ultimately it falls on me, right? And whether it's communication, technique, and just the consistency of the whole thing. If it was just one thing, it would be easy to fix. It hasn't been just one thing, and at times I think we've played it really good football, and other times it just hasn't been good enough, and we're certainly working hard to fix it every day and make it right.
Consistency is a big piece, but is there some slivers in the last week or two that you can point to the guys and say, that shows improvement, that shows growth? Those are what are those areas? Certainly handling movement in the run game is always an issue for whether you're watching NFL or high school, college. At times we've handled movement well. Other times we haven't handled movement well. We've had making sure that we just hear the call the right way, and that the center or whoever it is getting everybody on the same page. So it's like, honestly, I think it really just comes down to consistency, right? Because there's moments where you put that on tape and you're like, damn, that is, you guys might not know it, but I'm going, oh, that is, rad. Great job. Normally when the O-line makes it look easy, nobody notices, they're kicking butt, right? When it looks hard, it's like, and there's certainly been those moments where it's like, awesome. And then there's been the ones that like, whew, that's not good enough, fellas, for whatever reason.
The different handedness of your
your line for pass protection?
You know, they don't really know any different. Like you're saying, like with a lefty or a righty or whatever, the terms of the snaps, you know, I don't know what our stats are. We're probably in the, I would say shotgun 60, 70% of the time, and, you know, under center, I mean, that's just reps with the quarterbacks, which they've hopefully been, you know, we rep that all the time. And in terms of the pocket, we're not really set up as an offense to worry about like a quote unquote blind side. I mean, there's blind sides to every protection, depending on which way we're sliding or which way we're going. So, you know, I don't think they think much. We don't treat it different if you had a lefty or a righty. If that answers your question. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Hey, the sun's out. Sun's out. I wore sunglasses at practice today.